They aren't hiding it anymore. This video is about activism and the education system.
Real quick, you all, about what fascism looks like in our schools. It's when teachers are told, don't talk about racism, don't talk about gender, and absolutely do not talk about equity.
Mrs. Harris, this is kindergarten. Aren't we supposed to be learning numbers and shapes today? You know she's not in a fascist country because she comfortably says all this on camera, which you could not do in a fascist country without being jailed.
If teachers can't teach real history, if we can't challenge injustices, then classrooms stop being places of learning.
Is she wearing potato chips on her ears?
And they start becoming places of control.
There are plenty of ways that school conditions kids to be easily controlled pathologically, but those aren't it. What is this chick even talking about? You can literally see pictures of letters, rectangles, and numbers on her.
Yeah, I noticed that. This is definitely a pre-K to grade 5 classroom, and this is something that I don't think any person in that age range should be learning about. Like, why are you talking about gender? Why are you talking about racism at this age?
Wall, which means her class is very young. What business does politics have in a place where kids aren't even old enough to read?
Racism is usually something that's best taught alongside history, and you don't start learning history until like grade 4 or 5.
I mean, is she going to say it's fascism because
and then you learn about, like, you know, history more in depth in middle school.
You can't teach sex ed to 5-year-olds too? Well, she kind of already did. But these people will call anything fascist. Meanwhile, they'll stay silent on or approve of people getting arrested for calling themselves retarded.
I was told I would either be arrested or I had to turn up for interview under caution, was because on my Katie's Arms, I called myself a spaz. And I got arrested, effectively, by British police because that's offensive. I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to be charged.
That can't be real.
Against the Online Communications Act.
No
way.
That How bad is it in the UK? I keep hearing about this, like people getting knocks on their doors because of a Facebook post, but I refuse to believe it's that bad. That's dystopian. That's like fucking fascist. Like, there's no way.
That's a real instance of authoritarian censorship, and there are many examples of this in England. There's a whole world of difference between being arrested for saying that you're a spaz and your principal kindly asking you to spend more time teaching kids to count and less time teaching them bullshit like systemic racism.
Here's the reality, you all. Silencing educators isn't about
No, you're not being silenced. People don't understand, right? You're a teacher. You have a requirement for certain things you have to teach based on the curriculum. If you decide that you want to not teach those things, then you are not doing your job. You will then be asked to do your job, which from then on, you can decide to quit your job because you don't want to do that, or you can make a fuss about it on TikTok, but then continue to do your job, which is what you're doing, which is the fucking cringe answer. Because if you actually had a problem with it, then you would quit your job.
Protecting our
Or you could just be a good teacher.
Students or protecting children. It isn't about us indoctrinating children in a classroom with our political beliefs or our own personal agendas. It is 100% about protecting fascism.
That is just so wrong. It's just not true. It's just incorrect. It's just false. People don't know what silencing means. A lot of people I noticed on the left like to say that they're being silenced because they were sick and tired of hearing right-wing people saying they were being silenced, right? Even though the right-wing people were literally being silenced. When Trump gets banned on Twitter as the former president of the US, that's what being silenced looks like. And you not being told, or you being told to not teach certain things as a teacher when you are required to teach certain things is just not being silenced at all. It's just like you're not doing your job. Like, imagine a janitor trying to talk to teachers about porn while he should be mopping the floors and then being told that he shouldn't talk about that. Is that him being silenced? I don't think so. I think it's a little different.
That's strange because it completely sounds like it's about all of those things while at the same time having nothing to do with fascism. What's wrong with just giving kids the tools to learn and letting them figure things out on their own? That's what good teachers do. Well, that's kind of the point, right? These aren't good teachers who have their students' best interests in mind. These are ideologically possessed useful idiots who are seeking to convert people, and elementary school kids are the perfect victims because they're a captive audience who legally have to be in the classroom, and kids don't have any life experiences or know anything, so it's easy to get them to believe whatever you want without any sort of pushback. The fact that she wants to teach gender ideology to 5-year-olds is insane. Sorry, 7-year-olds. I just found this parody video where she talks about teaching 2nd grade.
Let me think of his name. Abraham Lincoln.
Black educators matter. Holy fuck, dude. These people are so narcissistic. Like, yeah, you're a black educator, dude. Do your job. You don't have to toot your own horn 24/7. Like, holy shit. You may as well just change this shirt that says, like, praise me, compliment me.
Hey.
Did he add the smoke alarm chirp in there himself?
Abraham Lincoln.
There's no way. Wait.
Hey. Abraham Lincoln.
Every time. I feel like it's impossible to cover a black person on TikTok without hearing a smoke detector that needs a battery replacement. And no, I did not edit the beep in.
I just asked that.
Yeah, I've been worried about my smoke detector. The maintenance guy changed the battery. It's still beeping.
What
There's nothing
the
else
fuck?
I can't do. It ain't. I can't make it stop beeping.
Who
I
the
can't do
fuck
nothing.
are you?
It's just gonna beep on its own.
Anyway, personally, I
Did he just find a person who's clearly disabled to... Whatever.
think it's a special kind of evil to teach children useless ideology that will screw up years of their lives just to make yourself feel important like this teacher is trying to do. Especially when it's evident that the person in question is just repeating talking points that she heard on CNN or whatever, rather than perceptions that were found through hard work, research, and self-reflection. I don't think she really understands what authoritarianism is because she wouldn't unironically repeat the talking points of the most oppressive groups in the country who would have you arrested for misgendering people.
How does that law force XXXY to use pronouns? Like in their advertising, in their corporate offices?
If they are interacting with a customer and the customer says, this is my preferred name and these are my preferred pronouns, this is the way I want to be addressed, there is a legal obligation to do that. They're compelled to use those pronouns and those surnames under Colorado's law. And
in Colorado? Wow, that's crazy. So private businesses can't refuse service to people, or if they do, they make sure that they have to be nice to them while doing it. That's awesome. So, for instance, if the infamous "It's ma'am" clip in GameStop was taking place in Colorado, you would have to be like, "Ma'am, can you get the fuck out of my store?" That's awesome. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it because it's almost kind of funny to play into it at that point. You know what I mean? It's almost more of an own to say the thing that you want them to say, but in a way that is so obviously parodying them.
real kicker is there are criminal penalties for it. You can have prison time, jail time for up to 4 months.
This isn't a new stance. They've been preaching criminal penalties for misgendering for like a decade. And considering our elementary school teacher's prior comments about gender and the fact that she has pronouns in her bio, I can almost guarantee that she would approve of people being arrested for speech that she finds offensive, despite being mad about what she calls censorship. I've watched enough people approving of Charlie Kirk's murder to know that
Julia, the teacher, defended me, though. After class, he said he agreed with me, so all is well. What did this person get in trouble for? Also, those glasses are just way too big for your face.
this archetype of person
It's crazy, bro. This shit, like, those are some goggles, huh?
has no idea what the term free speech means.
Or gotta have some fucking 30-30 vision. God damn.
And they thought police each other like crazy, so they all believe the exact same things, to the extent where they will support movements that are completely contrary to their personal beliefs because the group supports them. For example, we have Queers for Palestine.
This is based. Queers for Palestine is based, okay? Anyone who doesn't think so is not getting it. If we look at the Queers for Palestine movement, you'll see a lot of people who are mentally ill. So they're right where they should be.
What happened to a gay couple in Palestine, sir?
Executed according to
Okay. Okay.
Islamic law.
What happened to a gay couple in Palestine, sir?
Executed according to Islamic law.
Whoa. Executed. But he kind of had a little bit of a flow when he delivered that. You guys see that?
What happened to a gay couple in
Executed.
Palestine,
Wait.
sir?
Executed according to Islamic law.
That shit was like delivered perfectly. Executed. I mean, shit, bro. That was not. I mean, no hesitation there. I mean, fuck yeah, my boy. Speak that shit. He had that ready. Okay, that was screwed up for a moment there. But no, realistically, like I find the whole thing Queers for fucking jalapenos is like obviously retarded. But the people who hold microphones and interview the Queers for Palestine by saying, Yo, Queers for Palestine, you do know if you go there, you're gonna get fucking thrown off a building, right? It's like, okay, obviously that might be true, I don't know, but it's such a bad argument because you're trying to own people by saying that The reason they're there, the Queers for Palestine are there not because they're queer, but because they support Palestine, right? Because they believe Palestine is being genocided. So obviously, if you ask them, hey, you support the country that's being genocided, but they might hurt you, it's like, well, maybe they would hurt me, but they are being genocided, so I would want to have to support them first, which in a way is pretty selfless. So they're both pretty retarded, but the guys with the microphones that are trying to own these people, very, very slop.
To a gay couple in Palestine, sir.
Executed according to Islamic law. Islam doesn't endorse gayism. Islam doesn't endorse homosexuality.
I mean, these people are paid protesters, right? I've seen a lot of dumb shit on the internet, but even I have.
Didn't two Palestine gay people were executed not so long ago? Why are you asking me? How would I know that?
Trouble believing that this is not AstroTurf. But going back to school teachers, we've gotten to the point where it feels like most children's spaces have been raided by idiot radicals who care more about kids growing up with the right opinions than they do about teaching them useful skills, to the extent where in terms of parenting, everything is starting to become a landmine for kids. Recently, Netflix has been under fire for having a multitude of shows aimed at children as young as 2 years old that are teaching them transgender and LGBT ideology.
When you're trying to decide, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me.
How about you break out those moves for your two biggest fans?
What happened to Phoenix? Yeah, bro, this is just, this was made by rapists, by the way. If you've ever wondered what rapists do when they feel creative, they make shit like this.
You break out those moves for your two biggest fans.
For your two rapist dads. Holy fuck.
Since when did just be you mean wear a dress and act like the opposite gender? It's almost like when they say, just be you, the writers of this are specifically trying to lead very young children down a certain path. Oh wow, this meme is diabolical and related.
After aborting 10 girls, we finally have our surrogate. We finally have a boy.
Netflix unironically did this.
My favorite part about this is they gave the black guy the Killmonger haircut. By the way, this haircut is how you know this was made by white women.
This is what comes up when you search the company that makes Cocomelon, and trust me, nobody is shocked by these demographics. And let me just say this in a way so everyone can understand how corrupt this is. The founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, would often say something like, customers don't know what they want until I tell them what they want.
That's true.
This statement is arrogant, but I find it to be very accurate.
Yeah.
People don't realize how many choices are actually made for them by somebody else. Like, how do you...
Honestly, I feel like they aren't even portraying gay fathers as groomers and indoctrinators. Gay fathers should be the most upset with this cartoon. Oh, they are portraying gay fathers as groomers. I mean, like, I guess, but I think you should be. I mean, honestly, what you're saying is like, oh, gay dads should be most upset because they're portraying gay dads to be groomers. But I think that most people aren't gay, and so when you have a young child watching that show, that young child will have been conceived through a heterosexual relationship, right? And so I think who should be the most mad is straight people. Like, they should be getting homophobic because of that. Like, what?
You know, if you want an iPhone if you've never seen a smartphone before.
Like, it's usually, there's something so sinister about the grooming shit because it's people who can't have kids naturally because of how they are, literally trying to indoctrinate children who they couldn't make into being more like them. We can't have kids, so we're just gonna make yours more like us.
Or have you walked into a store before expecting to buy nothing but ended up walking out with tons of stuff? Getting people to think that they are intuitively picking things without them knowing that they're actually being led to pick that thing is an essential skill to have in the higher levels of creative fields, as the audience very often doesn't desire something until it's shown to them.
Parents absolutely have a right to be annoyed as shit with this. I'm trans, and if I had a kid, they would not be fucking watching this.
Let me make this even easier to understand. They're advertising transgenderism to kids when they put stuff like this in Cocomelon, which is a special...
Is this Cocomelon? I thought this was Netflix. Is it by the creators, I guess?
...form of evil, because kids are...
Although not are like that. Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
...very impressionable. And at least when I was younger, it's not like every boy was trying on dresses. This was a very rare thing in the 90s, so not many kids were thinking that this was a good idea on their own outside of maybe a Halloween costume as a joke. And the ones that might claim it was their own idea would often report when they got older that their mothers who wanted a daughter would
Gay dads don't dress their sons in girls' clothes, though. I mean, some do, but I don't think most of them do. This will make people hate gay people. If that's what you're concerned about mostly, then you have an issue. If you're most concerned about that being the thing that mostly affects gay people, then you're just not looking at this properly. A cartoon showing animated gay groomers. Gay people most affected. Like, what? How about the children? I think children most affected. Straight people most affected. The whole fatigue thing, that's where that comes from.
Put them in dresses. I mean, if you don't think that women can be degenerates, then I suggest that you watch this video by Shoe on Head. Degenerate behavior is actually quite normalized among women.
These bitches freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. Thousands and thousands of women in particular have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well,
yeah, we did watch this.
Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course. A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
So I find it very strange that we have all this sexual confusion in the younger generations the minute that tons of TV shows and children's books are telling kids to cross-dress, and considering that the wokies themselves are saying that this type of behavior leads to suicidal ideation.
I think another thing that happens is that a lot of transgender people infiltrate spaces, and what they end up doing is essentially spreading their identity to other members of the group, and because they're in that same group, they may sort of be more open to hearing out that position than they would have otherwise, right? It's like you see the memes of oh, I installed Overwatch and now I'm trans, or I installed, I don't know what other game has a big gay fan base or whatever, but when you become big in certain communities where there's overlap, it can put you to be more exposed to this sort of stuff.
They are essentially admitting that they're infecting kids with mental...
Or like Discord. I downloaded Discord and now I'm a femboy, right?
Mental health issues.
I hear someone's not feeling well. Let's take a look at the little man.
What the fuck?
Can I please talk to you two outside? I know that you guys are busy, but as you would see, if you looked at her and not her chart, Bailey is not a boy. And by treating her like...
Why are we listening to an 8-year-old black girl tell the doctors who have PhDs how to do their job?
One, you are completely ignoring who she is. You're making her feel insignificant and humiliated. And that's not gonna help her feel good or safe or calm.
Get a job.
So, from here on out, please recognize her for who she is.
I apologize.
I bet the retards who wrote that incredibly preachy scene thought it was glorious and deserving of a standing ovation.
That was so embarrassing. You know the libs just eat that up. You know it's a bitch crying behind that.
That scene came from another Netflix show called The Babysitter's Club that aired back in 2020. Just in case you weren't aware, The Babysitter's Club was a popular book series that girls would read when I was in elementary school, just to give you an idea of the age of the target audience. And I have to say that regardless of the argument being made, you have to have zero respect for the audience's intelligence to preach to them like this. This kind of soapbox-style writing is designed for morons, and it's about as annoying as modern games giving constant tutorials for the dumbest stuff like, press A to jump. Did you know that jumping is how you can get over obstacles and avoid enemy attacks? Yeah, no shit. I have no idea why video games do this when the natural impulse when you first turn on a game is to press all the buttons and see what they do.
This game doesn't treat you like you're retarded. They know you're retarded because you bought the game.
Not being able to see or respect the intellectual ability of others is a trait of dumb people.
When you look at the staff of Netflix, you can start to really see demons. Hamish Steele.
What the
this
fuck?
Guy.
What on earth? Yeah, the phenotype says it all. Something about the beard becoming something that is meant almost exclusively now for quivering pussies and not Viking warriors is definitely, it's something worth noting. Notice how the beard has become feminized? It's like a bunch of fat fucks who preach woke bullshit who wear it. They have the Funko Pop stare in their eyes.
Is a they Blue Sky user. This person, of course, was one of the, Charlie Kirk grave spitters.
Yeah.
This is the person making kids cartoons.
Child rapist.
I bet that most of the people...
Seth Rogen, great example.
...who write on these types of shows would have no problem with what he said about Charlie Kirk. This guy was a writer on that other Netflix transgender propaganda show that people have been memeing called Dead End Paranormal Park. Anyway, to that prior point, Giving children the exact answers to everything instead of fostering an environment where they can figure out the answers themselves removes their ability to critically think. And since it's coming from Netflix, I think it's a strategy that's done on purpose. That company is so nefarious with children's content that they will throw something like this 5 seasons into a show.
Like what?
Sammy,
This animation style sucks dick. Is this about to be lesbian? I'm probably into this though.
falling for you. I know.
Oh, never mind. She chopped.
I heard you earlier. I just wanted to hear you say it again because I've been wanting to hear you say that since I don't even know when.
I hope AI takes all these people's jobs.
Imagine you're
Bro.
a parent and you trust that there's an innocent show for your kids about dinosaurs. You don't want to be a helicopter parent and look over their shoulder for everything they watch because that's bad for their development. So after you've already given the show your trust in season 1, several seasons later they randomly insert LGBT content into it.
Sorry, by the way, just looking at this scenery, how cool would it be just to live right here? Like, I don't know how I would do it, but just right in this little gazebo looking thing, I would have like snacks for like, bro, I could probably live here for like 6 months. If I had internet, a bed, and like enough food, bro, I would live like the best life of all time.
And now you have to have an uncomfortable conversation with your 6-year-old who's not
Be
ready
so
for this
cool.
kind of information. I mean, as a parent, I'd be pretty pissed about that. In fact, I would cancel my subscription over
Obviously.
this. Now, if you're kind of shy about this because
Vote
there's
with
a
your
show on
dollar.
Netflix that you like, then how about you just cancel for a few months? Try it out.
Or
you
just
can always come
pirate it.
back, and believe me, if people start canceling even for just a few months, they're going to feel it. This is grooming, and for a more classic example, you even have the Steven Universe showrunner saying they specifically waited like 50 episodes into the show to force feed in a lesbian relationship.
We kept Ruby and Sapphire hidden from the network until 2014 when we finally made Jailbreak. And as expected, we got the note that these characters cannot be in a romantic relationship. I said that they are. They sing a song about it. They're in love. The song's already been recorded. We can't take it out. We got the characters in. And from then on, every episode with Ruby and Sapphire was a big uphill battle. But
Like, isn't this so funny for them to say? Like, for them to admit this? Like, this is actually so diabolical to admit that they infiltrated. Like, they have to play the long game. It's tactical warfare. Like, they've came up with these strategies to try to get lesbian relationships into children's TV shows. That's insane.
it was one that I was willing to fight. I would compromise on other things.
Like, do you hear this, bitch? What a psycho. Huh. I was unwilling to give up on this. It mattered to me so much. Like, dude, that's weird. That is weird for you to say out loud.
But I would not compromise on Ruby and Sapphire.
Why does this need to be in a show for kids?
Hi, Alex. I'm Stevani. My pronouns are they, them. Hi, Stevani. This is my friend Alex. Nice to meet you. I use they, them pronouns too. Yeah, bro. Which books did the Nazis burn?
I'm not even kidding with how fucked up this is.
Hey, when we're older, let's get married.
Why are these little kids in a gay relationship? Their voices haven't even dropped yet. But this is just on the Cartoon Network YouTube page now. It's clearly grooming, and people don't want...
Black people can't marry white people. Do you guys remember that? That was actually so funny. That shit had me crying in 2020. I'm sure you guys have seen this.
2, 3! Hey, when we're older, let's get married.
Ha! You can't get married.
Why not?
Black people can't marry white people.
Hey now.
It's Garnet from Steven Universe.
Kids, don't be racist.
this shit in children's media because it's forcing them to have conversations with their kids that they aren't old enough for. And I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of these writers are childless.
I took my grandson to see
Toy Story?
not that one, but the
Oh, the new Buzz, the Lightyear.
So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
Right. It's inappropriate.
Yeah.
5-year-olds don't need to know how babies are made, nor do they need to understand every single nuance of adult relationships.
It's literally rated PG as well. Like, what?
So why is this stuff in kids shows? Can they even tell anyone the social harm of waiting until kids are post-puberty to discuss this stuff? No, they can't because there isn't one. The only harm is a decrease in stock prices for pharmaceutical companies because they won't be able to sell as many puberty blockers.
If any parents are concerned that if they do not show their kids LGBT kids cartoons, that they are somehow going to grow up to be someone who is intolerant or confused or not educated on these issues, I promise you.
Would you rather your child be potentially intolerant or potentially transgender?
Gay mother.
And if you immediately know the answer to that question, then there you go.
Will find a way to be gay. If your kid ultimately, their destiny is to be trans later in life and they make that informed decision and that's their life journey, I promise you.
I will say, though, if I ever have a trans child, I hope it's a girl that ends up being a boy. So that way I can just sneak some of their testosterone. Like later in life when my body slows down, I need, I get a little more achy in the back. And I need some testosterone. I got my teenage male or female to male son. I'll sneak in that room, take some of the tests, go get a mean pump. It'll be fun.
They're going to get there without needing to be propagandized about it first.
But I can't stress enough to young people how in the 90s things like this didn't exist. Yes, there were gays, but people weren't identifying as trans left and right. Certainly kids weren't.
A pump, like a workout.
I think until after gay marriage was fully legalized in like 2015 and the LGBT activist groups ran out of a cause to fight for, I had seen maybe like one trans person in my entire life. All of this is manufactured, and people are now picking up genders like they pick up the weird porn fetishes that you see in Turkey Tom videos.
Ooh, I like your pins. I am Nightshade. My pronouns are they, them.
Thanks. I'm Sam. I'm she, they. Sometimes the world can be...
This animation style is pretty much a telltale sign that you're going to be watching something designed by child rapists. If you don't know if the show has themes in it that you don't want your kid to watch, pay attention for this, barely graduated from college knowing how to use Blender-style animation.
A scary place. It's hard to know who's dangerous or not. Hey, it's okay. I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or...
And then this just absolute terrible voice acting.
Other non-binary people.
Are you sure you want to go down that route? I feel safe when I'm around people who are just like me. Imagine if a white person said that.
As you guys know, I'm Irish, so it's cool to be here. I am not from here, obviously, but it's really cool to come somewhere and everybody looks exactly like you.
Damn, that sounded super racist. Here, I'll fix it by having a black person say it.
Coming to Ghana has been great. It's the first...
Billie Eilish? What the hell is that? Where's her SS uniform? That was pretty cool.
Fix it by having a black person say it.
Coming to Ghana has been...
Billie Eilish! Whatever.
Great. It's the first time in my life that I'm not black. Here it's like, everybody's black, so you don't even think about being black. It's beautiful. Yeah. Coming to a place where you're the majority is very empowering.
Gee, that was a close one. Now let's go back to telling white people that they're evil for being born the wrong skin color.
Hi everybody, I'm at the Bastard Barbecue right now. All my friends are in there. I don't really understand. So you're not letting me in because of my hairstyle?
Correct.
Yeah,
So if it doesn't align with a culture that
Jared, they won't. I'm filming right now, but they won't let me in because I have dreadlocks.
They what?
They won't let me in because I have dreadlocks, and they're trying to show me that
And we
this way.
explained to them that we have a cultural appropriation policy.
But this is retarded. I just drove 5 hours to get here.
Also, even that language, I don't want used in the venue as
Oh my
well. So
gosh.
it's like,
Oh man, pulling out the R word? That's messed up. But allow me to use this clip to point out that again, all of this outrage is manufactured by political radicals. Even people who are slightly right of Karl Marx don't like it. This is like a gay music festival or whatever with a sign that ironically says they have a zero tolerance policy for all forms of bigotry and oppressive behavior. So this dreadlock lady is probably on the left if she's going to an event like this.
Right.
Well, then I would like my money back in cash. Yeah, we can be able to. I would rather go in and not have to make myself look like a total retard because I've been camping for
you're also using the R word on this and trying to look good.
No,
Yeah, that's also a thing where
I'm
we
allowed
are
to
not-
call myself whatever I want.
The word retard is not okay. And
These people are all fucking retarded. They don't even know how to not argue with these people are so retarded, they don't know why it's bad to say retarded. They're so retarded that they don't even understand why they don't want to say retarded.
in the world and in this venue.
Oh man, she R-worded again. What's wrong with her? Wait, what are the rules on this? Because I know if it was the N-word they were talking about, they wouldn't say the full word. They would just say the N-word. So why are they saying retard and not the R word if it's so offensive?
What if, like, somebody comes with braids in their hair?
If that is not with their culture.
Also, is this a Happy Meal watch? I don't know who this is, but what the fuck is this?
Sure, if they are
Is this trans-colored watch?
appropriating another culture.
Retard is like my second favorite word. Retard's here to stay. Anyone who thinks that retard's going away is retarded. It's back and it's here to stay and it's gonna get comfortable. And it's in most people's lexicon now. Because you have the people that were told not to say it, that because they were told not to say it, are saying it even more now than ever. And then you have the people that are like, ooh, wait, I can say this now? And because they like it, that they can say it and they are now approved, that they're basically, you know, kind of abusing it. It's like when you get a new video game and you spend your entire like the next 2 weeks playing the fuck out of it, right? And so maybe it'll get worn out, but what's gonna happen is that because people are just so used to it now, even if it gets worn out, it's now in their vocabulary, and asking people to change their vocabulary is, you know, it's not easy. And it's also a fight that they're not gonna win. Like, it's just not top of the list in terms of everything.
I'm Native as well. It's totally unfair and I'm being discriminated against.
The Birdhouse is committed to creating an anti-racist environment. This was made very carefully with the Black community in our space.
That's hilarious because Black girls appropriate white women's hair all the time.
Bro.
Seems like a very privileged and racist position to say that a white person can't do a thing that you're allowed to do because they were born the wrong skin color.
Can I just say, literally this August, a white person said the N-word in front of me.
Nobody cares. Black people say that word constantly. You can't be that offended by it. The only reason you're pretending to care is because you want to use it as a tool to unfairly gain power by playing the victim, or you want to use it to spread racial hatred of white people. I mean, how have these people skated by all these years without being called racist when they are very obviously extremely racist? Like more racist than the average person. As for the white people from the Queer Music Festival, wait, isn't queer a slur? It definitely used to be a slur, so I don't see how they can be mad about that girl using the R word. But these white people hate other white people so much that they have no idea of the obscene amounts of money that Black women spend straightening their hair or buying wigs to try and make it look like a white girl's hair.
If you're offended by minorities talking about their lived experiences, you're the problem. If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem.
Someone needs to show this chick crime statistics and then ask her which men women are afraid of. Sorry, I'm not sorry. All these complainers need to get with the program or shut the fuck up. No one cares about your lived experiences or how it's okay for you to be a degenerate criminal who deserves reparations for shit that you didn't live through. In fact, I might say that some of these people's lived experiences are going to become quite uncomfortable when we start giving judges capital punishment for releasing people who have committed 25 felonies in a 10-year period out into polite society.
Is this what
And
Mom
also,
Donnie
in
is
my
doing?
opinion, things are about to become real uncomfortable for the educators who have been pushing sexual deviancy onto children.
I'm a mom of 2 in Fairfax County. This is my oldest, and my husband and I
Look at that
have
guy.
a difficult decision to make this fall as he is approaching preschool age, and we are faced with the decision
She's a hot mom.
of whether or not we are going to put our child in public school system where Fairfax
Bro,
County
I actually have to find me a MILF this Halloween. Been on my bucket list for so long. I think it's time. I'm striking gold this Halloween. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I am.
decided to move forward with instituting gender studies in elementary school.
Yeah, throw them all in jail. From a technical standpoint, this is not pedophilia, but it's certainly adjacent, and unnecessarily teaching prepubescent kids sexual topics in school outside of basic biology should be a crime that lands you prison time or worse.
Yeah.
There are not nearly enough teachers and school board members going to jail for this.
Despite having done a study group, a focus group in the community to see if parents even wanted this. And when parents said no, the board voted 16-0 and said we're moving forward anyways. This shows clearly that they see parents not as partners, but as an obstacle for their agenda.
More evidence that this entire school board should be arrested. You don't think these types of people should be in prison, or worse? Look at this.
So here's what I'm asking you. You have a hard time hearing this from me, but this is for 10 years old and up, and this bill was passed for 5-year-olds. And you have a hard time me sitting here telling you the words anal sex, masturbation. That's hard for you, or the time's up? Because the time's not really up. I don't believe you, Mr. Wiley.
That's
that
awesome.
My time is up.
Approved for
That's
5-year-olds.
awesome.
The fact that there is no sentencing for
Dude,
this
that's
stuff is
awesome.
ridiculous. More and more we hear stories like this next one because these sick fucks have been allowed to get away with it.
In early May of 2021, my wife and I were asked by our daughter if she could attend Jenna Reap's after-school anime club at Wellington Middle School.
Anime.
Knowing there's a lot of inappropriate anime, we reluctantly gave our permission, trusting PSD to provide a safe, age-appropriate environment for our child.
Oh yeah, you're cooked, bro. You're actually fucked. It's done. It's over.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I love Japan, but anime has a lot of stuff in it that's inappropriate for middle schoolers. There's a reason why Toonami and 4Kids back in the 90s used to edit anime like crazy. Anyway, so after going to this anime club for middle schoolers, this guy's 12-year-old daughter tries to end her life. Up next is the conversation that follows him bringing this up.
Not a single PSD employee reached out to us to understand what in the PSD environment may have contributed to her decision to end her life. It wasn't until May of this year when Wellington Middle School made the news that we had a much better understanding of what had happened.
I'm sorry?
And realized that our experience was not an isolated incident. Anime Club was actually a club about gender and sex, and when we asked our daughter if she was ever told to lie to us about it, she said she was told that students didn't have to talk to anyone about what was being said in that room, and if parents asked, students didn't need to tell them. And it felt like a slap in the face to me to listen to Brian Kingsley and Kelby Benedict, the principal, through email and in person and video, that they fully support and encourage these organizations that they know bring with them a highly elevated suicide rate. When we met with Kelby, he told us, I am proud of the community that we've created in Wellington, a community that led to my daughter's decision to try and end her life. And when we shared our experience with Kelby, he told us that kids being invited to art club and anime club were just rumors, and then suggested our daughter was lying with regards to what Jenna Reap had told her about talking to parents.
Hey kids, let's talk about sexual topics. Make sure that you don't tell your parents what we're saying. It's our little secret. You see what I mean by pedo adjacent? I mean, there are like a million stories of stuff like this. It literally happens all the time, and these people need to start getting arrested for doing this. Like, why did this next teacher only get fired?
We are going to name this trans student Millie. Millie's parents have found out that Millie is going by Millie at school. Millie's parents are homophobic and transphobic, and so they don't like that.
What's with this millennial inflection? Like, Millie butter, bacon, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Chungus. Holy fuck. I don't know, man. There's something going on there. It's like the millennial brain has to speak in a way that's like always never taking itself too seriously. Even if we're talking about like child molestation. It's like, child and the parents are derp. I don't know. But listen, the reality is parents obviously should have complete control over what their children are being taught in school, right? And the issue is that you are supposed to live in a country like America where you have a reasonable expectation that the school your child is attending, as a taxpayer, you're paying for the school system, is not turning your child into a gay retard. And it seems like too often we are learning about taxpayer-funded schools attempting to turn innocent children into gay retards. And we have the parents that are protesting this being called Nazis and fascists. And the issue is that when they are called that, they oftentimes, instead of actually ignoring it and going back to the fact that their child are being mentally tormented and manipulated, end up having to defend themselves against the horrible accusation of being a Nazi or a fascist. You know, it's time to stop caring about the labels that are being thrown at you when what's actually happening is far worse. Would you rather get called mean? I'm sorry, wait. Let me just say this. You're gonna have to get called mean in order to fix things. It's not like you have no choice. Like, you can't be a nice person. You can't ask. Like, what are you gonna fucking pretty please the school board? Pretty please the makers of the curriculum to not include things that they basically said is okay to include? No, it's time for you to protest. It's time for you to get pissed. Or if you don't have the energy to do that, then it's just time to send your kid to private school, right? It's time to homeschool them or something. But I wouldn't say homeschool. Homeschool is kind of brutal because I do think that homeschooling is sort of a recipe for your child to become a little bit inept right? Not just inept in like a socialization way, as in like they're not going to be good at talking to people and they'll only have it's like, I mean, it is an echo chamber. When you homeschool your kids, their recess is the same as every other thing throughout their day, right? But it's also like they will not be able to be as outgoing as most children actually are, and they are also not going to be good at reading social cues, which I guess this is all socialization, so maybe I was wrong, but it's just not worth it.
Them being homophobic and transphobic does not make Millie not Millie. They are essentially torturing Millie at home because they don't like this. At this point, I'm going to let you know that the Department of Education for my state does not force people to call trans kids by their chosen name.
Good.
But it does have it heavily recommended. I am very confused when the admin Larry sends out an email to all of the staff that have Millie. The email says that henceforth they are only to be called Bob by all of the teachers, and if they hear them saying anything to any of the other students, they need to correct them. And so when Millie came in that day, I took Millie aside and I was like, hey, I got an email today that said that you want to go by Bob now. Is that true? And Millie just starts sobbing. Because no, Millie does not want to go by Bob now. Bob is the dead name. Millie is...
Shut the fuck up. The audacity to get inflamed, to get enraged, right? To get this angry at TikTok because of this. You're a parasite.
Still Millie and wants to be called Millie, but the parents have contacted the school, and Larry decided that this was the best course of action. Yes, these events did 100% lead to me not being hired again at the end of the year. Worth it.
Shocker.
Yeah, going around and gender confusing kids should be a crime. A light punishment for doing this secretly and against the wishes of the parents would be losing her job and losing her teaching license. Because remember what this leads to. For now, it's just a name change, but in a few years, it's medical and surgical intervention, which are decisions that lead to permanent outcomes that these kids may not want when they turn 25. Yet parents and doctors and school employees are making this decision for kids at like 13. Actually, that's not entirely accurate because oftentimes schools are gatewaying kids into this against parental consent or knowledge. And a lot of this comes from stupid ideology that some people have that kids are just like tiny adults. And instead of being a stern parent and guiding them away from bad decisions that have negative consequences that they are too young to understand, every little whim should be listened to.
What age do you think most trans kids determine that they're trans?
Violet told us when she was 1.5. She's been telling us since she could speak.
You've got to be kidding me. These parents are insane. What, he picked up a Barbie doll and now you decided that he needs cross-hormone therapy?
If you like girl things, it means that you're actually a girl. That's right. So if you like gardening, you're a girl. If you like cooking, you're a girl. Why is it that every single, if gender's such a massive spectrum, then why is every kid that shows an interest in something that's feminine automatically trans? I like Sailor Moon. Does that make me a girl? Yeah, it is. Go to your go talk to your doctor tomorrow and you should start your transition immediately.
At this point, if the CPS wasn't so great at putting kids in situations that are worse than the ones they're being rescued from, then I would say that legal action should be taken against these parents for doing this to their 1-year-old. So I don't think we can do anything on that front outside of maybe shaming them for doing this, but I do believe that we can make the lives of other people very uncomfortable for promoting this stuff. In recent months, my mind has changed on this very much. There's no talking to these people or reasoning with them or compromising. Their lives just need to be ruined until they step in line.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination.
We tried unity. We've been trying open debate and honest discussion with these people since 2016?
Yeah.
2014? Not only have they mislabeled us as fascist Nazis, but they have ritually tried to assassinate political figures.
Well, think about it like this. What I said earlier about not trying to argue against them when they label you as a fascist or a Nazi is because you're playing into their framework, which is a framework where you're already basically bad enough to be murdered. And so if you're arguing against them, you're basically trying to convince them to lower their weapons, right? To sheath the blade. But they've decided basically from the moment you open your mouth that you're a target. And you're not going to convince them that you're not a target because they've made that decision for you, right? So you have to fight back. It's like, if you're getting mugged, what are you going to tell the guy that he shouldn't mug you? Like, you're not a good mugging candidate, you've been a good person, whatever. That makes you a fucking idiot, and you deserve to get mugged. You have to fight back. Punch the guy in the face who's trying to mug you. If you're getting called a fascist, call them a pedophile back, because that's what they're calling you a fascist for. You call them a pedophile, right? It's like, this is what I'm saying. If you're willing to just like allow these people to slander you and mislabel you, then you're just like, you're going to lose everything you care about. And if you don't want to lose everything you care about, then it's time to toughen up. It's like, as Donald Trump wrote in his book, it's time to get tough. It's simply time to get tough.
On our side. And when they succeeded, they all laughed and said, why not more? Oh, and it's not just Republicans like Charlie Kirk that they did this to. Remember, a Democrat, Melissa Hortman, was murdered by a radical leftist conveniently after she voted against healthcare for illegals. Make no mistake, these radicals will kill people on the left too for not being left enough. Now, going back to trans kids, I've shown this clip in 2 different videos already, but I think it's so disgusting that it bears repeating, considering that a month ago, the world changed.
Dr. Olson had a decision.
You are in the perfect place to start on blockers.
And she promises to begin giving her estrogen,
this is
female
insane.
hormones,
Literally
in 2
insane.
years.
Insane.
Around 13.
Insane. Jail everybody involved.
That's what I think. You're not going to wait until 16 to start. You know that, okay?
Now, in the past, I might have said, isn't this so awful? We should talk to these people and show them the error of their ways. I'm not on that level anymore. This doctor should get life in prison, or worse. I see very little difference between sterilizing 13-year-olds and child molestation. And make no mistake, she very likely has given these recommendations to many kids.
Right.
So let's do it. Let's change the laws and make it happen. People need to be criminally punished for medically transitioning kids. Why are we letting radical activists or teachers or psychologists or doctors tell parents that their kids will die if they don't go on HRT?
Mhm.
That's not how this works.
It's
And if they want to say
fear-mongering.
that it works like that, then allow me to remind everyone that they have no evidence that lack of gender-affirming care leads to suicidal ideation. I've looked through data that they provided to argue their points in many different videos like this one.
There's also survivorship bias, right? So what they'll do is there's been polling that takes people after medical transitioning and asks them how their life has improved, right? And there's a good chunk of them that say after medical transitioning, their life has improved, their quality of life has improved. But there's a bias there because the people whose lives haven't improved are in many cases dead. So you can't ask them for their opinion, right? So you always have to factor in the people who aren't even there to respond, right? And the people who would be willing to respond to that poll in the first place are people who likely want to promote their way of living. The people who want to get in front of a camera or a microphone and say, the decisions that I made were so good, look how happy I am now, this is something that I want to tell other people, right? Like, who wants to get on a microphone and tell everyone how shitty their life is after a decision that they thought would improve their life took place, right? Who wants to get, oh, hey guys, don't make the mistake that I did, everyone laugh at me and don't be like me, I am a fucking walking mistake. Nobody wants to do that. So this polling really has to be taken with a grain of salt, if not a fucking handful of salt. Like, a lot of this stuff is faulty, and it's for so many reasons. And then you also have to look at, I think as well, the people who have transitioned, the way that they talk about the world and what they believe. It's all very nihilistic and very cynical, very sadistic, the way of viewing the world, right? Like, maybe you are happy with yourself, but the sort of way that you interact with the world and society would show that you're very maladjusted, you don't feel like you belong, you don't act like you belong, and in many cases, the way that you behave is a way that not anybody who is truly healthy is behaving. So there's many layers to this, especially the polling, right? I knew a lot of trans people growing up, and none of them did hormone therapy until they were 18 or older. This is all super new. Well, yeah, I mean, it's super new because I think largely the normalization campaign that's taken place has worked, right? As you looked at earlier, this stuff's on Netflix now, and also the profit motive for this stuff is incredibly high. There are like gender clinics, and I think the UK, I looked at this a few months ago, that decided there was a 4,000%, or either it was 4,000% or 4,000 more referrals to medical transitioning or recommendations of medical transitioning. So it was either a 4,000% increase or 4,000 new suggestions to start medical transitioning children. So again, I don't have the data in front of me, but 4,000% seems like too high, but it could be true because it is so new. But either which way, yeah, it is a new thing. That's why people call it a fad.
And to quickly summarize, their proof that not being affirmed leads to more suicide attempts is weak because there are other cofactors like homelessness and drug abuse that are far more prominent, and they've also failed to prove that gender-affirming care is an effective treatment because they don't test it against other therapies. And the one time I was provided a study where they did, Gender-affirming care was shown to have no effect. Now, personally, I think adults can do whatever they want. You know, who am I to stop an adult who hires a plastic surgeon to turn themselves into an elf? But outside of that, how
Wait, that's kind of hot, though.
am I to stop an adult
What's this guy's name? Barrett?
who hires a plastic surgeon
My next girlfriend's getting this procedure.
to turn themselves into an elf? But outside of that, how about the people who throw this stuff at kids spend some time in prison? The evidence that these extremely invasive therapies improve the mental health of children or maintain any mental health benefit long-term is basically non-existent. And keep in mind, they have spent the past 10 years censoring and bullying and taking the jobs of anyone who says where's the data or tries to do honest research. So how about people start going to jail for doing this to kids? How about you at least lose your teaching license for making a secret anime club to teach gender ideology to middle schoolers behind their parents' back? How about these school boards who are putting inappropriate sexual material in front of elementary school kids against their parents' wishes? Get put in handcuffs. I don't think people are thinking downstream far enough. People should be more mad about this. Let's get back to this chick for a second.
If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem.
Right, and why would you have to be afraid of men? Well, it's no secret that mental health issues cause criminality, and things like high rates of single motherhood or giving children life-altering surgeries at 13 have a really bad habit of giving people the kind of mental health issues that turn them into criminals. There's a reason why a number of these mass shooters are trans. Personally, I would like to live in a space where I'm not constantly worried that I'll be robbed or stabbed. You do know that there are other societies that don't have to deal with these types of problems, right? I would just like to further emphasize a point that I've already made in a prior video, because I went on a second trip to Japan after just going a month prior.
I was with him.
And like I said before, it is uncanny to be able to just relax in public when you're out at night. It is uncanny to be able to walk away from your luggage that contains thousands of dollars of electronics and turn your back on it to look at a subway map.
Was this the photo from Japan? Was this the tower that we were at? I'm trying to think.
Because
I don't think it is.
Oh, that no one's going to steal it. What do they call that? A high trust society? Japan is also notorious for being...
I wonder if he's going to include anything that I told him to include. I forget what next video he said he was making. I don't know if it was something like this, but I gave him some talking points that I hope he includes in this.
Clean, despite having no trash cans anywhere. I mean, the trash can situation there is ridiculous. They hide the trash cans from you. But despite that...
This is, I think, when he was in Osaka, in the nature area. I didn't go for that.
The cities are still super clean. In fact, even the degenerates who litter have the courtesy to hide their empty cans in bushes, or line them up on windowsills, or even organize their litter in public walkways when a windowsill or a bush isn't available. Look how neat that is. I'll go even further because this blew my mind. I've been listening to the Steve Jobs biography, so I wanted to go into an Apple store while I was in Japan, because there's talk about the design of the Apple stores in the book. When my friends and I got there, we noticed that not only do you have, as far as I saw, full access to all the features on the iPhones, but also, none of the phones were tethered to the desk, which means you can just pick the phone up and walk around with it. They can do that in Japan because no one steals. Or at least, theft is rare enough that Apple in Japan feels comfortable treating their customers like human beings and not criminals. Why isn't America like that? We don't have to live in filthy cities or filthy communities that are full of criminals. There are other places in the world that have figured this out, and we can too. Though the sad part for Japan is that this is changing a bit. Here's a video that Oriental Pearl just released.
Graffiti.
Oh, I met this woman.
And is that this is changing a bit.
Yeah, I met her when I was in Japan. She was very sweet. Yeah, she helped us out. I bought this watch. It's in my other room. I'll have to go get it. It was like this Seiko. It's like a Japanese brand. It's kind of like, I'll be honest, it's like off-brand Rolex. But it's like big in Japan. It's like Japanese engineered. And they all... they don't speak much English, and she helped translate and help me buy the watch, so shout out to her.
Here's a video that Oriental Pearl just released.
Where was
Graffiti all over the wall. Somebody illegally dumped their household trash here. This has been here for weeks. There's even graffiti on the abandoned house. This isn't London. It's not New York. This is actually Tokyo, Japan. And then coming over here, every pole, everything, every little box, vending machines have graffiti on it.
I feel like this might be Westerners, though.
This is covered up.
More free Palestine retards, of course. Like I've said before, I'm all for peace in the Middle East, but when you start engaging in terrorist acts or vandalism, I get a lot less accepting and a lot less sympathetic towards foreigners, especially when it's foreigners who screwed up their country and have come to ruin yours.
But it turns out the people that are being invited into Japan are actually not super grateful, and thank God for Japan, they have a secret weapon to combat this. racism.
Unfortunately, mass immigration isn't the only issue that's hurting Japan, as global events of the 2020s have caused the culture to degrade a bit.
The graffiti just seems to be getting worse. I've seen this over the last few years, especially around
Was I near this area?
Corona.
I don't think so.
Right after the pandemic, a lot of runaways from all across the country, even really young kids, middle school and high school age, came and gathered here at Toyoko Hiroba. So there were the Toyoko kids, the runaways from Japan, all across the country that came to Shinjuku. They'd stay in the manga cafes, they'd work, you know,
oh, I remember this area.
Jobs
yeah, I was here
during the daytime. And the same goes for this Okubo Byoin right here behind me.
I think
this was insane, and I had never seen anything like this in
These vending machines were so cool. The thing I miss about Japan, maybe not the most, but everything being like every small little purchase, like a coffee or a water, a Gatorade, a soda, they're like sub $1, like 70 cents, 80 cents. That reminds me of like the 99-cent Arizona iced tea. And I feel like that's not even what it is anymore in like CVS or like in a convenience store. They're like $1.50 or like $2. Everything being so affordable was so lovely. It was
Japan
great.
Before. Not only the professional ladies of the night.
And it was just everywhere, like so many vending machines. You could get little snacks. Honestly, no, the thing I loved the most was the desserts. Japanese desserts were amazing. I didn't know they were so good. You had like these all sorts of small things that you could get from like the convenience stores, and everything at the restaurants was amazing. Honestly, I could go on like a 30-minute rant about how amazing Japan was. Yeah, bro, we're talking about kids being groomed. We don't have time for this. Okay, true.
Standing out here, but also the
Actually, no, everyone has time to hear about how good Japan is, because everyone should go. Everyone at some point should save up $3,000 to $4,000 and take a trip to Japan. It will change your life.
Amateurs, but you don't see them so much anymore because it became so famous in Japan that the police had to get involved and put a stop to it.
Well, great. It sounds like another bullying success story. Outside of that, yeah, a lot of people are hurting because of what was done during COVID. It's almost like worldwide lockdowns were done to purposefully throw people into poverty and increase crime. Now, as far as I'm aware, this kind of stuff in Japan is isolated to areas of Tokyo like Shibuya, Shinjuku, and a part of Shinjuku called Kabukicho. I don't think it's like a massive countrywide thing. Certainly, Kyoto is very clean. However, there was some drama around this video as Chris from abroad in Japan went onto Facebook. Who the hell still uses Facebook? Chris went onto Facebook to say that Oriental Pearl was just drama farming, and these areas are actually fine. Personally, I've been to the areas that were mentioned twice in the past 2 months, and I have to say that there is a noticeable difference between them and other parts of Tokyo that are much safer. I mean, a friend and I definitely walked down an alleyway in Shinjuku on accident that we immediately wanted to leave. Not to mention that I've been told unprompted by multiple Japanese teachers during lessons to be careful in these areas, especially at night.
So in this case, I don't think Oriental Pearl is exaggerating or sensationalist. Seeing that much graffiti in Japan, it's not usual.
So that corner is actually here. It's actually getting worse 2023 versus now.
Interesting.
So if her point is like, oh,
are you
yeah,
the friend?
Japan's
I don't think we walked down an alleyway or something. Maybe? I don't think so.
More graffitis everywhere.
I think it was somebody else.
And trash everywhere. Yeah, I didn't know about this myself. It seems like she's actually true.
I do think that this is a problem, at least in those areas, and just because an area was worse before doesn't mean that it can't still be improved. Along with that, if you ignore it, then it will get worse and spread to other places. So personally, I think a less tolerant attitude towards crime, instead of saying, come on guys, it's not that bad, is more appropriate.
Obviously.
As for the West, I'm tired of it. I'm fatigued. I'm tired of all the crime. We are way too tolerant of criminals. So how about we start putting up boundaries? How about we stop putting up with all this bad behavior? Because the more that we allow this stuff to continue, the more it will morph us into bad people.
Yeah,
now,
obviously.
This next thing is about relationships, but I think it heavily applies.
I cannot tell you how much bitterness and resentment you will build up as a man if you do everything for your woman and you get nothing in return. And guys, I'm not going to lie, it will turn you into a monster. You can be the best man on earth, but if you have an ungrateful partner, it will turn you into a fucking monster, bro.
He's right. If you get intimately involved with bad people, they will turn you into a monster long before you get anywhere close to fixing them. Some people cannot be reformed, and the ones who can be reformed will only make changes when they're socially ostracized or experience.
Wait, what does this have to do with what we were watching? I don't really know. I mean, a lot of this video is just random things kind of put together, but I agree with all of it.
Extremely negative consequences. So if you're suffering because you're around bad people,
I don't know what that has to do with Japan.
Then know that you don't have to live like this. You don't have to be in a relationship with a crazy person, and we don't.
Yeah, and Sean is kind of like this IRL. Like, he does kind of, a lot of the times, take one thing and rope it into like a billion other things.
Have to live in a society,
and it's funny to see this in his video
where people call us racist,
but it makes sense. I mean, he's not wrong,
as they try to turn our kids into sexual deviants who hate their parents. And it's not that hard. If you want to send these people into a spiral, then just tell them that there are only two genders. But if someone keeps trying to ruin your life, stop talking to them. The more you put up with them, the more you'll degrade yourself. If someone commits a horrendous crime, then make sure they go to jail. And last, don't be appeased by bullshit. Bullshit like good old politicians creating cashless bail reform because Irina Zarutska got stabbed on a train. I mean, sure, that's all well and good, and this AI summary seems to show some things that I like, but that's not what we asked for. I could have sworn what people requested was life imprisonment or capital punishment to the activist judges who keep releasing these career violent criminals into polite society. That'll stop this shit real fast. I don't want dumb cashless bail reform as a consolation prize. I want these evil activist judges who let that girl get stabbed to be dealt with. What needs to happen as a society is that we all need to assert boundaries and not back down until actual justice has been served. That's what will fix these problems. Anyway, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.
Banger. Well, really good video. I mean, obviously, it does kind of go all over the place, but I think he's still on the money. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike, and I'll see you guys all later. Bye.